When I was growing up, the vehicle on the road was either from Japan or German. Today, however, that is different. Kenya has grown, and now we are designing and manufacturing our own brand of premium vehicles. Welcome, my name is Kawesa Clinton, and this is Discovery Passport.
The big question: is Africa the last frontier for significant automotive development and growth in the world? To answer this question, we will need to look at the region's automotive industry and the opportunities it presents. Today, we are in Nairobi, Kenya, where we will be meeting with the CEO of Mobius Motors to discover more about this industry.
So, thank you again for joining us.
Cheers.
Please introduce yourself and tell us more about this beautiful, amazing place.
Okay, so Clinton, I'm Nicolas Guibert. I'm French. I joined Mobius Motors 4 years ago. I come from the UK, in fact, originally, because I was working there. So I'm the head of Mobius Motors.
So, what is Mobius Motors?
So Mobius Motors is a startup still. It's an old startup because it was founded 13 years ago in 2010 by Joel Jackson. Joel Jackson is a British guy who was 23 years old only when he founded this company, exactly. He was working at Kilifi in an NGO, and he was a bit shocked by the kind of market the automotive market was. So you know that very well. In Africa, 90% of the cars are imported used cars. So he thought, why do we do that? We should have brand new cars proposed to the African customer. It's not fair.
For the African
for the African market. So in fact, he decided to found a company that is able to propose to the African market affordable new cars. So this is really our vision. Our vision is to propose to the market affordable new cars, and also cars that are really matching the market needs. And what does it mean? It means SUV as well. So hence you can see our cars are SUVs.
So far, how has the journey been?
So the journey is very interesting for Mobius Motors. I mean, the company, after 7 years after Joel Jackson founded the company, he launched, because I was not in the company at that time, he launched the first Mobius 2, the Mobius 2 first generation. And the objective of this car is the car that does the job. Yeah. It must go everywhere, it must hold a very long time, very reliable, very easy to repair, cheap to repair. So if you take the example of the wire harness of the dashboard of this car, it's comparable to a Peugeot 504. You remember this one?
Yes,
Maybe not, because you were not born, but it's a very simple one. So everybody will be able to repair, to maintain this car in even very remote areas. Okay, so this is really the vision of this particular car.
I get you. And
then comes the second one, the Mobius 3. So Mobius 3, in fact, you know, any car maker must have a range of cars, of course, if you want to cover the different segments of the market. So this one is the small middle segment for SUV, and this one is the large SUV segment. Yes. So this one is much more premium. It has not been designed by Mobius Motors. We are sharing the platform with another OEM, from another country. This is very common. Many OEMs like sharing their platforms because you can reduce the cost. Okay, so we are currently sharing this platform with another OEM, and we can sell this car under our brand in East African countries and later on on the whole continent.
I get you.
Okay,
I get you.
So this one is very premium.
I've been inside. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
When you talk about premium, I agree.
So this one is premium, very capable as well, because it's a pure 4x4 with a high and low speed 4x4. It has a very high ground clearance. It's really capable to go everywhere, but also very comfortable. It has more electronics. The cluster is digital. The power brake is electric. You have a push start button, of course. So you have more equipment, more features, more refined, but still quite simple. So it's not a Range Rover, extremely sophisticated. Okay, so it's also a car that can take you everywhere in a safe way. Let's say. Yeah.
Talking about markets.
Yeah.
What was your market target when you're making this?
So our market target, as I told you before, is Africa, definitely. So we want to, and also people who are really willing to accede to these brand new cars market, but at an affordable price. For instance, if you take the Mobius 3, we are selling this car at the same price as an imported equivalent SUV. So I won't give any other brand because they will hate me. But I can tell you that this car, you can buy it at a cheaper price as an equivalent imported used car, which is 5 years old, 50,000 kilometers. So it's extremely interesting to do that because this car is not only new, but also it has a 3 years warranty. So you know that for the next 3 years, you won't spend any money in the car. Only service, but nothing. If there is a breakdown, if a part breaks, then we replace it for free.
Oh, so
it's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah, there's a guarantee. Yeah, exactly. So it's very, very interesting. Yes.
So for someone who is looking to acquire a Mobius, what is the process?
So if you want to buy a Mobius, it's very simple. You can go to our website. You will be able to contact us by mail or by phone, okay? Or you just come to the showroom on Mombasa Road, Samia Business Park, and we have a team of sales consultants who will attend you. It's much more simple than what many people think. The only problem, of course, is you must have the money, and if you don't have the whole amount in cash, then you can also go to a bank. So we have a list of banks that are already financing our cars. So you can finance up to, it depends of your profile, of course.
Who can help in the financing?
So we have a partnership with a different number of banks, and you can finance up to 95% of the value of your car. Yeah, it's possible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So generally, anyone who wants to afford it can afford it.
Sorry?
So generally, anyone who wants to afford it can afford it.
Yes, we think so. I mean, of course, this car is not a car for free. The price is around 6.5 million today, so not any Kenyan can buy this car. But there is already, I would say, the market for this kind of cars is 3,000 to 4,000 cars a year. So we want to take a market share of 10% of this. So it means that in the longer term, we want to sell 300 to 400 of this car in the Kenyan market only. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Ever since you started, what are some of the challenges that you've gone through as a company?
So the main challenge for a startup, I would say the first challenge was technical. It was to, in fact, to create a team able to realize this factory, but also to design a car. So for instance, engineering-wise, in Kenya, you have very few people able to design a car. So we recruited John Kavila, who is our technical director, and who has a very strong technical background through Caterpillar. He was a design engineer in Caterpillar. So he accepted to follow Mobius on his journey, and he joined Mobius. So he trained engineers just coming out of the university, and they've been trained for years now to design a car. So these guys are using a computer design system which is called CATIA Dassault Systems. It's a worldwide known system that is used by all the OEMs, even aerospace. So our people now know how to use this system, which is very useful to design the parts, to calculate the parts, to modify the parts, to test them. We can do many things digitally now. Okay.
So the major problem was skill.
The first one is skill. Find the skilled people, and then the other one, of course, is obvious for every startup, is money, is cash. So we of course, even if we are very, very cheap and we don't spend a lot of capital, we must find money on the market to pay our people, to pay the rent of this factory, to invest in the tooling. So we've spent already more than $35 million since the company exists, okay, and we are still raising funds today. So I would say the pace of the development of our company is in fact following the pace of the fundraise.
That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Apart from the four-wheelers,
Yeah.
Are you looking to expand to other areas like the two-wheelers or?
Yes. So it's a very good question. So in fact, so currently we have already one car on the market. This car will be very soon on the market as well, early next year. And we plan as well to introduce into the market another four-wheeler in the e-mobility brand. So it will be a hybrid.
So you're going green, yeah?
We are going green, no way anyway. We have to, it's just for an economical reason as well.
Yes.
People in the future, they won't be able to pay a liter of petrol. It will be too expensive. It will be as expensive as gold. Okay, so the new energy in the future, green or not green, will be electric power for car industry. Okay, so this is why we have to move anyway to this direction. But we have to propose a solution which is good for African people as well, because when you look at how customers are already reacting responding to the introduction of 100% electric vehicles in Europe or in America, they're not very happy because these vehicles are very expensive. So and we are working on it, our goal is to introduce on the market, first not a pure EV because people won't be able to charge them everywhere, a hybrid, but a hybrid that will make them able to drive their car most of the time with electric power.
Yes.
And electric power will be much cheaper than petrol. Okay, so in 2-3 years' time. So it will be the solution for Africa because it will be not only green but also very affordable. Okay, so this is our objective. And this is for 4-wheelers, and 2-wheelers we have started already this year. So in fact, it's a great news. We have decided to support the 2-wheelers, the electric 2-wheelers mobility. So we have signed a contract with 2 startups, Stima and PowerHive, who are in fact selling motorcycles on the market and also swapping the batteries. So what they do, they provide the power, the electricity to the riders. Okay, and this is where their business is. And this is, I'm convinced it will work very well because even if the riders pay to these companies the electricity with a markup, at the end what they pay is much cheaper than petrol. So it's a win-win business. The rider is winner. So the rider can save around 10,000 Kenyan shilling per month, which is huge for them. Okay, and these companies as well are making their margin, their money on the rent of the battery. Okay, so the problem is these companies are very small, and they were and are still looking for partners, industrial partners in the market to assemble their motorcycles. So we decided to be one of them, and we assembled this year already 150 motorcycles. And our goal is to assemble next year thousands of motorcycles for the Kenyan markets.
I can't wait to see that. Two more questions before we go. For someone who's watching in Nigeria or South Africa, and they would like to get a Mobius, are you exporting already?
So we haven't started exporting our cars yet, but our goal is to export first in East Africa. So we'll probably start with Tanzania. Okay, we are currently discussing with a potential partner in Tanzania, and then we'll go to the countries like Rwanda, Uganda, in East Africa. But we are already also thinking about other countries that are almost in East Africa, like Congo. Okay, and we have some requests as well from other countries like Zambia, for instance. There are some dealership calling us or writing to us asking to sell our cars. But the problem is we will do that slowly because we must make sure that our customers at the end will have the right quality of service. So it's dangerous when you expand too fast because you can make unhappy customers. Okay, so our first focus is Kenya, and we are still in Kenya today. Then we expand to East Africa, and after that we'll go to the rest of the continent. Okay.
Finally, what is the future of Mobius?
So the future of Mobius for me is great. So first is SUV. It will be e-mobility through hybridization of our vehicles. By the way, what I haven't told you is this Mobius 2 it's a petrol car, but we can easily make of it a hybrid or even an EV. Okay, so we will do that. So SUV, EV, as I said, electric mobility, but also 2-wheelers and maybe 3-wheelers, who knows. So we really want to expand our company into the multiple wheelers, let's say, to be a contributor to the development of the mobility in Africa, and hopefully most of it will be e-mobility.
So, fun fact before you go, coffee or tea?
Coffee with milk.
Well, you've just heard the incredible story from the CEO of Mobius Motors. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be meeting the technical director to tell us how this amazing car is made. Well, welcome back. Thank you for keeping your Discovery passport. We are still here at Mobius Motors at the production floor. Now I'm joined by the technical director. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having us again, yeah? Please introduce yourself and tell us more.
Welcome. I'm John Kavila Kwinga. I'm the technical director here at Mobius Motors, and I'm going to walk you through our design, manufacturing process, and the feature set for these two cars that we currently assemble.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm seeing this beautiful car here. Tell me more about it.
So, before I dive straight into the vehicle, let me tell you a little bit about how we got here.
Yes.
So, the very first generation of this, and this is the one we call the Mobius 2. The very first generation of the Mobius 2, we produced that and got that into the market and started receiving customer feedback. So, this was regards to the overall fit in terms of ride comfort, some of the feature sets of the vehicle. Also what the capability of the vehicle had in terms of being able to use in a more sort of urban setting. So this voice of the customer is what we started collecting and ultimately using to bring some of the enhancements that I will go through.
This one has been made from feedback?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've actually been taking that voice of the customer from the first generation and incorporated it into the second generation.
That's amazing.
So I'll take you through at a very high level. So the overall design, you will notice, really from the first generation we've softened the overall look of the vehicle. So we had a lot of criticism, good or bad, with regards to the very boxy look of the first generation. So if you look at this one, we've stylized the elements a little bit. Much more softer curves with regards to the edges. You can look at the overall vehicle, it sort of loses that very sort of harsh edges there.
Yes.
But it's still got that aggressive presence on the particular road. So those were one of the key elements that we made a big change on. Other things were with regards to the overall cabin. So remember, the Gen 1 was canvas, so it was pretty much, there were no windows. That was an issue for people, especially if they're driving in places that were dusty or are in sort of more of an urban setting where security could be a concern. So a closed cabin was some of the things that we started looking at. That's what we put with regards to the glass and the overall enclosure of the vehicle. Other elements around the comfort, with regards to the ride comfort, those are also some of the things that we addressed, and that is with much more improved suspension, and I'll go through the detail with regards to that. The seats inside also, with regards to comfort, we changed that. So these seats are a little bit more comfortable with regards to passenger ride quality. In terms of ease of driving, we also changed the steering. We went from, we had a manual steering on the first generation. Well, this now is power steering. So we provide that particular comfort.
To enjoy the driving experience.
That's right. We also have AC inside. So again, in an enclosed cabin, in the sort of climate that we might be in, it's hot, you at least now have AC comfort with regards to the overall vehicle.
So this was a pure improvement from the first one.
Yes. In essence, a lot of the things that customers were asking for, we went and touched upon on this particular car.
That's amazing.
Okay.
That's amazing.
With regards to the design, I mean, ultimately, we started from sketches. We took the first generation vehicle and started iterating around our design language, ultimately trying to make a vehicle that brought about that rugged look. And touched the various elements of the overall vehicle, the stance that we wanted. But one thing that was also very key is, in however we designed this vehicle, we were considering the technology that was also available to us. Because again, the key thing with this was also to make sure we could localize as much of the content of this possible. So material selection was key, technology selection was key, as we went through that overall design process, both externally and internally. Okay. Now, a very key part of this vehicle is, like, as I talk about those design languages, for example, we've used composite panels. Now, traditionally, you'd obviously use steel. But here we've used...
When you talk about composite panels,
yes.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about fiberglass, fiberglass panels. So it's composite. Composite is used in a wide variety of applications. It's used in boats, it's used in aircraft. This is fiber fiberglass material that we've used, and initially we're using what is panels made from a hand layer process. You can also use what would be a vacuum assisted type of process, which improves the overall quality and weight of the panels. But these ones we've decided to go to composite panels initially. Key reason is because if we were trying to do this with steel, would require very heavy investment in tooling, which for a startup would be very difficult to obviously very expensive.
According to the World Economic Forum, Africa's auto industry, valued at $30.44 billion in 2021, is expected to grow to $42.06 billion by 2027, a nearly 40% increase in value.
Well, you've heard the incredible story of Mobius Motors, and if you ask me, this is Build Kenya by Kenya. My name is Kawesa Clinton. Thank you for keeping it Discovery Passport.